something wrong. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our movie club. Today we are going to discuss a movie, old American movie, old Western, which name is Rio Bravo. And before we start, I will read a bit from Wikipedia. It's a reason why I have chosen this video. So in 2014, Rio Bravo was deemed culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant by the Library of Congress and selected for presentation in the National Film Registry. Can you imagine? So it's a very important movie. Teacher Lee, any comments? Why it's so important?
Just a river to me. Maybe it was like the Nile River in Egypt. Maybe it was used for development. You know.
Yeah, but I mean, why Congress of the United States chosen this movie for for let me read it again. Culturally and historically significant movie.
I haven't seen it in a long time. I don't remember anything special about it. Just a cowboy movie. I'm not sure, Ivan. I'd have to read Wikipedia and see what their reasons were.
Okay, Gerard, please.
I was wondering all the time why the title of Rio Bravo, and at the end, the last song, they sing something about Rio Bravo, the last song of the movie. But nothing. Rio Bravo doesn't appear in the whole movie. I think it's the Rio Bravo is a river that it's the frontier with Mexico, something like this.
Maybe. I'm not sure. Yeah,
it rings a bell to me.
In Wikipedia, they say that it was filmed in old Tucson studios outside Tucson, Arizona. So probably it's a border between Mexico and Arizona. Tucson, how we pronounce it?
We pronounce it Tucson.
Tucson, okay, Tucson. Okay, so we a little bit warm it up. Let's start with the story. I can start. So we have a old small American town at the beginning, and we can see some guy. His name is Borrachon, which is from Spanish. It's mean drunk too much. Am I correct, Gerard?
Yes, you're right. Also, dude.
Also, dude. Yeah. Borrachon and dude. He is kind of alcoholic, but he is struggling with this vice, and he came to a bar without any money and trying to get something. And another cowboy, throw a coin to him, but sheriff, what he did not allow to get this coin. So conflict started. So guy hit sheriff and all these things, but after they became friends. Right? Please.
That they throw the coin. The guy throw the coin inside the spitting jar. The water jar where people used to spit. That's quite disgusting.
Yeah.
Imagine $1 coin in the middle of the spit.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
So sheriff tried to prevent him from humiliation, but he did not accept this and and hit sheriff. So yeah, but then he helped sheriff with something, and he became to be an assistant to sheriff. Is there a special name for that, teacher Lee?
Deputy.
So he is now a deputy. So in this town, we can see sheriff, he is deputy, this guy dude, and another old man, Stumpy, who is kind of jail keeper or something. Stumpy, I think his name.
Stumpy, okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
Stumpy,
What else?
okay.
Do you have a question, please?
Yes, teacher Lee, what is the difference between humiliation and humility, humanity, something like that? They all sound
no, they're totally different. Totally different. Humility is being humble.
Mm-hmm.
Is humble. We'll call it humbleness. Okay. Humiliation is shame. So big difference.
Okay. Vasans, if you don't mind, please continue the plot, the story.
Yes, and at the initial stage, the guy who was humiliating the dude killed another guy in the bar and escaped from there. Uh, and with a wound on his forehead, the sheriff went to arrest him, but he tried to how to say that, tried to escape or something. He was stubborn. He didn't want to surrender. So, and the dude helped him to get him. Then he arrested him and put him in jail and made Stumpy to guard him. Uh, and he gave a chance. He gave the dude a chance to recover from his how to say that, his I don't know, the
You
condition, the
mean
medical condition he is in. Yeah,
you mean this like
the
attraction
addiction.
by
Okay.
alcohol?
Yeah. Yes. And he took that job and he placed a star on his chest to indicate that he is working for the sheriff. And he was supposed to stand at the border of the village, at the town, and to check everybody who is coming inside the town and ask them to place their gun, to leave their gun on the fence and let them inside. Uh, that was his job. And later, his brother was approaching the guy, the murder, the accused brother was approaching, and he was about to get him out from the jail. But
Okay, okay.
yeah,
Let's talk for a bit. So we can see that this dude, he's kind of a good guy. He's a professional, we can say. Yes, he doing his job. He's doing his job very well. His job of deputy. Yeah. But there is another plot. Another plot there is with this brother. Yeah. Sergey, can you please enlighten us about the story?
About
Just continue. You know this plot.
just continuing. I remember this game on the cards, and in the bar, some people plays cards, include the women, and the sheriff asks the women, maybe she is the not not honest player. Uh,
he he, uh, he accused her in cheating. Yeah, cheating.
yep, and there are and the women love the sheriff, surprisingly for me, and I don't know why, but it's true. And after that, the dude told the story about his decrease when he met the prostitute and he fall in love, and they went to the Mexico, and after that, prostitute went from dude, and dude returned in this small city, and he started to drink
Drink.
to drink alcohol, and he didn't have money, and he started to collect the donations from the other guy, and but now surprisingly he started to new life with the sheriff, with the other guy, because he maybe understood that his life was bad,
Mhm.
maybe.
You forgot another guy. You know, young guy, young cowboy, Colorado.
Colorado.
Why
Yeah.
he's important for the story?
Small caravan with the head of friends of head of sheriff's friend, and the Colorado guy was as a deputy of sheriff's friend, and after that they have small conversation with other guy about this situation, and uh, Darmont friends killed sheriff's friend, and the Colorado guy went to the sheriff, and uh, he become as a deputy, deputy of sheriff.
Yeah, okay, so but yeah, Sergey, a little bit, English, what was the nitpick, yeah, detail. So women, it's mean a lot of women, yeah. So a woman, women, so it's a plural.
Ah,
Okay. Okay, Jürgen, would you like to continue? So we stopped exactly at what moments? Let's start with appearing of brother of this Joe.
Oh, the story is not so clear, and to me, I can't remember the story.
Okay. We have an expert. Let's ask him.
Yeah.
Please tell us about this Joe's brother.
The brother of the guy that was in jail, you mean? This guy was very powerful and rich, and he hired several people to get his brother free, and gave at the beginning $50 in gold, a piece of $50 in a gold coin.
Mm-hmm.
But the first guys, I think four guys try to kidnap the dude, and then the sheriff, with the help of Colorado, kill them and free the dude. And I think, and after that, send more people to try to get free his brother.
Yeah, I see our problem. Our problem is that we're trying to describe, pretty movies that like it's about action mostly. Yeah, these guys shoot to another guys. Yeah, so yeah. So if you will describe it like we can describe it step by step, because it's a lot of shooting but not too much story inside. So it's kind of action movie. But we should point like a few lines. Let's just show not the whole story but some logical lines. So we have a romantic story. So this lady that Sergey mentioned, she fall in love with sheriff. It's strange story. I agree with Sergey. Yes, because sheriff not kind of guy, for to fall in of the first sight. Usually, how we call this from the first sight, at the first sight.
Love at first sight.
Yeah, love at first sight. Yeah, so it's a strange line. I agree. Yeah. So another line which I don't understand clearly, it's that sheriff always needs some help, but he refused. Yeah. So why he needs this help? And who was those guys who watched sheriff from the very beginning? So at the very beginning, around the jail, there were some guys who watched every action of sheriff. I don't understand that clearly, but let's say that situation in the town is very tense. So sheriff has a lot of a lot of work to do. So another line, it's a line with dude who was kind of a bad guy. Now he's a good guy and he's working for sheriff and he has own problems. For instance, do you remember this shaking heads line?
Yeah.
Can you describe us what is so special about shaking hands? Do you remember this? Do you remember this dude? He at one moment he refused to be deputy anymore. He said, "Look at my hand. I cannot.
Yeah.
I cannot."
Yeah. I remember this moment, and it's I saw in my life this situation when the alcoholic lives without alcohol,
and that's why I asked you.
Yeah, it's it's a strange situation for me because the sheriff for me is the head of police department in the small town. When the police department took some alcoholic inside uh, for work as a policeman, so it's a pretty strange rape, and they killed without courts anymore. Seriously, it's a I don't know, teacher Lee, it's a true in your history killed without courts, and I don't know, it's a strange.
Yeah,
In those days, we didn't live in those days. We only have legends and stories, but generally it was lawless. I mean, you're talking about people that move out west. They live in a little town. There's one sheriff. We call him sheriff. There's one sheriff. He's the law. One man. So
Okay.
and there's people drink all the time. It's possible, and if you're out in the desert, you can kill somebody nobody knows because we didn't have DNA and bullet analysis and blood tests. We didn't have anything. So you kill somebody back then when nobody's looking, nobody knows who did it. So it's possible. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And I have one questions about the system of sheriffs. Who
Okay.
supported
Yeah,
the sheriff?
let's go on. Yeah. Let's distinguish who is sheriff, who is U.S. Marshal. It was mentioned in the movie that sheriff and his deputy they were waiting for U.S. Marshal to keep this job to somewhere. So let's cover this. Who is sheriff? What kind of power he has, and who gives him this power? Teacher, to you.
Sheriffs are just local to the town. They only have jurisdiction in their town. They're like local police. Now, the U.S. Marshals, they are for the whole country. They're federal. So they have authority anywhere, any town, anywhere. So they're a higher level. The marshals are like the FBI. And the sheriff is like the local police.
Yeah, but it's very important, who gives power to sheriff and where he takes money, because we can see in the movie that he arbitrarily choosing deputy for him. You are hired. Why? Where is your money?
I think the sheriff was elected by the people. I'm not sure. I've never read how in the old days, I never read how the sheriff got his position. Usually nobody else wanted it. so somebody would volunteer, okay, I'll be the sheriff, because you can die, right? You're one lawman. If there's 3 criminals, it's 3 against 1. So I don't think people really wanted to be a lawman back then. So I'm not sure, who or how they got their job.
Yeah, but so people elected him in this citizen of the town, yeah, and they kind of paid him, not federal government, not something, but local.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Can we use this word county?
There might have been something like that where an area of the state, appointed sheriffs. I'm not sure. But yeah, you could use county. We didn't really have them back then, but.
Okay, because it was in the movie. They said,
was it? Okay.
Yeah, there was dead men and they need to be buried. And sheriff said, just bury them and send check to the county.
Okay, so they had like a county government then that might have done those functions.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So yeah, question please.
Yes, I have questions about nowadays, and I watched some movie when they were sheriffs. If I understand correctly, sheriffs works only in small town. Yep.
Yeah, usually one per town.
Okay, we have one sheriff for small town and the police department. How they work together or separately? Police department in small town and the sheriff.
Well, They don't exist at the same time. It's like people and dinosaurs. There were no police back then. The sheriff was the one policeman. That was it. One sheriff. He was the police. We didn't have police back then. We only had a sheriff.
So nowadays there are no sheriffs in US, right?
We still have sheriffs and marshals, but they're not the same thing. A sheriff today is kind of like a police chief. He kind of, we have sheriffs in the county, but police in the city. So sheriffs are more of a local county kind of law enforcement. And the sheriff is mostly a politician, and he has deputies that go do the work. Now, we do have U.S. Marshals. They wear a suit. They carry a gun. They are federal law enforcement. After 9/11 happened, we instituted a lottery system where some planes will have a U.S. Marshal on board with a gun, but you don't know who he is. So your plane may or may not have a U.S. Marshal on board, so that if terrorists try to take over an airplane, you might have a guy with a gun that can stop you. But we don't announce which planes have marshals on board. For all I know, we don't even do it. I don't know. It may be a bluff, you know, but we still have sheriffs and marshals today, but they're different than in the old days.
Yeah. The system is evolution, right?
Right. Yeah. Evolved.
Evolved. Yeah, and became complex and more complex. So
yeah.
So
but back then, a town had one sheriff, and if it had a lot of problems, then he would have multiple deputies. So you might have one sheriff and two deputies to help maintain the order.
Yeah, but what is interesting for me, you know, I like this money talks, you know. So if sheriff have some budget and he hired like two deputies, will he share his salary, or citizens just will pay more, or how it's?
I think they get their own salary, I'm sure. So if he hires a deputy, I guess the county will pay the deputy.
Okay.
So I guess he has the ability to hire deputies, perhaps. I don't know if he needs like court permission or if he can just hire deputies. I'm not sure.
Okay, so let me remember where we stopped. So we discussed the plot still. So we covered like romantic story. Vasals, how it's ended, this romantic story? Is it a happy end?
Yes, the lady was very talkative, and they bumped into each other so many times, and he didn't want any help from anybody, but she wanted to help him. And at one point, she was waiting outside his door while he was sleeping. She was just guarding him, like something like that. They like babysitting or something. So he didn't like that, but still they had feeling on each other. And at the end of the movie, they had a reunion. They united. So it was a happy ending. Yeah.
Yeah, beginning of the nice relationship. Something like this. Yeah. Right?
To me, this relationship doesn't have any sense. This young woman is in her 20s, and the sheriff in his 50s. John Wayne doesn't look in very good shape in this movie. He looks older than he really was.
Yeah, but
he's not nice with the lady. You know, he's not. His only quality, I think, he's brave. But anything else, he's not nice with. He's not handsome. He's not in good shape. So I don't know what the lady sees in him. Maybe.
Okay, we occasionally we have an expert today. So let's ask Black Mata. Black Mata, have you did you have a chance to see this movie? To watch this movie? Can you talk today, Mata?
All right.
Or just right?
She's
Okay.
muted.
Okay. Hello?
Oh,
Yes,
Hello?
but I did your
So you did not watch it, right? You didn't watch it.
I did like 60%.
Oh, it's enough. It's enough. So you see this, sheriff, this main guy, right?
He's asking why the young girl loved the old man. Why?
Please enlighten us, guys.
Because the movie.
Because he's John Wayne.
Ah, okay.
Why she loved him?
Yeah. Why she fell in love with this old guy?
Okay, I have a reply for this because he used to wear two belts.
Sorry. Because he has two belts, right?
Gun belt?
Yeah.
Okay. So you see, guys, do you have two gun belts? No, that's why young lady don't like you. Please fix it ASAP. ASAP means as soon as possible. Okay.
Except.
Women like men that are powerful, that they feel can protect them. It's a caveman security instinct.
Okay, so we covered this, guys. There are always reasons. Okay, so what else? I forgot again where we stopped. Okay, so we have a romantic story. It's finished with a happy ending. We have a dude story, and I think it's happy ending as well. So dude is alive, in my opinion, and he not an alcoholic anymore, and he found a cure for his disease, and his cure is music, right? When he hears music, he is okay. Persons? Am I right?
Yes, and we forgot about the hotel manager and his story. It was a comical part. I like that part when he was hit by his wife because he wanted to get the lady to the stage. I think she refused, but he carried her on his hand. But his wife misunderstood him and punched him on the face. That was the funny one. How he explained it to the marshal. No, the sheriff. So that was the funny one.
Yeah. Yes. So, and I can understand it easily. If you carry some woman, and you meet your wife, you'd better to have some explanation to that. Yeah? Why you do this? So, and something reasonable. So this guy, and he's it's interesting that this guy speaks in Spanish as well as in English in the movie. So he's kind of Mexican, I understand, and his wife is a stereotypically hot woman, from South, all the things. So he eventually get beaten, get hit by his wife. Yeah, so kind of the hot-tempered marriage.
Yeah. Domestic violence.
Domestic violence. Yeah. It's existed long time ago. Yeah, but you see it. Yeah. Just thank you. It's very valuable point. When domestic violence goes this direction, it's just comedy, right? It's just ironic. When it goes different direction, it's a tragedy. We need call the police. Okay, so thank you, Basan. So yes, it was an ironic part in the movie. Yeah, movie is pretty old, so it's kind of slow pace. It's long, so we can see all these lines very clearly. It's not like a modern movies with all these twists and dynamic action. No, everything is no. We will get there eventually, step by step. So we covered romantic line, we covered ironic line. What else? So the detective line. Is there any detectives?
BM mentioned red pants.
Yeah, red pants. Yep. Who can explain these things?
I can explain. Oh, Sergey. Okay.
Who? Yeah. Do you remember this red pants line?
Yeah, and I remembered about this this moment when the Mexican guy waited the
Parcel.
parcel with something. I don't know. I think this maybe this new tablet on new smartphone. I don't know. It's surprising for me. It's a red panties, but it's not modern red panties. It's not strings. It's not. It's uh, er- erotic pants. It's a strangely. It's a strangely panties for basketball maybe. I
No, no,
don't
no, no.
know.
See, it's not for basketball. It's exactly erotic panty, but it's for 50 years ago or something. Or longer.
1 century
Yeah,
ago.
I understand, but I noticed that in 100 year we made a big progress step for new erotic panties
Okay.
from this big
Yeah,
panties
yeah.
for small.
I can imagine. But read the chat, please. We have an expert today, and Black Mata just pointed us that this red pants was the reason why the lady fell in love. Because she have seen this perfect, red lingerie, and she understand how good his guy is.
Lingerie.
Lingerie.
French
And
romantic word.
Okay. Sergey?
Lingerie.
interesting moment, and in the end of the movie we could watch this main woman with the erotic panties with the modern style with the with
Yeah,
the I
the
don't know.
name for them is Panty House, I think. Panty House or something. Let me write it. Something like this. Actually, is it a word? Is it a
Oh,
word?
pantyhose? Okay. Or,
I think so. I'm not an expert still.
or
Black Mata.
stockings or pantyhose. Could be pantyhose. Could be, yeah. All right.
Okay.
Panty
Whew.
house.
Yeah, a lot of dictionary, but it's kind of strange dictionary for a Western movie, guys. No? Okay, so no detective story, some actions, a lot of actions in the movie, a lot of shootings, a lot of dead mans. So this guy, he's kind of professional. He can kill like 10 guys at row without getting tired. And it's good. It's good for the story. Yeah. A lot of action. Okay. A lot of action. It's uncountable. So I cannot say actions, right?
Not in this case. When you talk about the concept, it's uncountable.
Okay.
You can take 3 actions. 1, 2, 3. Then it's countable. But the concept is uncountable. So it's an action movie. A lot of action. Okay.
Yeah, a bloody sheriff, yeah. Black Manta, but he's bloody just because it's his job. He's a good guy, deep inside.
Bloody shit.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else, guys, about the story? What is your favorite lines, music, costumes, actresses? I don't know, what else? Sergey?
Yes, I have one interesting moment for me, and when I watched the Western type movies about Wild West, and I noticed that never see children, never, only men mostly, and 2 or 3 women
Yeah.
like visitors, like dancers, like singers. Not children, not women, only men, only strong men. It's I understand that's the time as a wild west when the people came to the west for gold, but it's a stranger for me.
Mm, but I think there must be a lot of children, right? So why not?
Yeah. There are some cowboy movies do have kids running around playing, but back in the old days, the kids weren't really action kind of elements to a movie, so they probably didn't focus on kids much.
Yeah. So Sergey, we can consider it like the movie like get rid of unnecessary details. So
Right. Right.
So
In the old days, yeah.
yeah. So just to focus, because now you watch the movies on your personal computer, but in the old times you have to drink in the bar and watch movie, and many details will, make you understanding worse. So, yeah.
But we anywhere we saw the Chinese person in this movie. It's a strange.
Yeah. Of course, Chinese.
Well,
Yeah.
not really. In the cowboy days,
Yep.
we brought in Chinese cheap labor to build our railroads.
Okay.
So there were Chinese in the cowboy America. They were the railroad workers, and they wore those triangular hats.
Yeah, like Vietnamese hat. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Gerard, please.
I wanted to talk about Stampy. The old guy.
Yeah.
He was a cripple,
Yeah.
and also he was very grumpy.
Yeah, and I almost cannot understand what he.
That's what it was very difficult to understand him because he talked quickly and he didn't have almost teeth.
Yeah.
So his pronunciation was very hard to understand.
Yeah, and
All the
probably.
time he was complaining.
Yeah, and probably he was trying to speak in like a idiomatic way with jokes with something, so it's hard to understand. Yeah.
Babbling, like he was babbling. Blah, blah, blah.
Okay. Let me talk about the name Stumpy. Okay.
Yep.
In the old days, it might have been cute, but today you don't call a person like that Stumpy. They'll kill you. You have a tree. You know what a tree is, right? When you cut a tree,
Yeah.
what's left in the ground we call a stump, a
Mhm.
tree stump. When a person has a limb cut off, we call that a stump.
Mhm.
So if he had a limb cut off, they called him Stumpy
Yeah.
as a nickname because he had a stump. You do that today, the Democrats will rain down hell on you, okay?
Okay, and I read our chat, and Jürgen has an interesting question. So the stage mentioned in the movie, she was an actress for the stage. She was going to the stage. What is the stage? Am I correct, Jürgen? Is it your question?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what is the stage? Usually in the movies they just use that like something, I don't know, some certain thing.
Now, in a saloon,
Mhm.
we don't call it a bar. In the cowboy days, it's a saloon. They often had a stage where women would go up there and dance.
Okay.
Now, a stage coach is different. That's a method of travel.
Stage. Okay.
Stagecoach is a method of travel. It's the big. It's a coach with horses, and people travel inside there.
Okay.
But the stage is just like a stage today. It's a little area where they can dance or perform. So a lot of times they had dancing girls in saloons,
Okay.
and they would dance, and then they would sit with the customers and try to get them to buy more drinks.
Okay, I understand. Yeah, kind of girls for entertainment. Black Mata, please.
Like Thailand, Cowboy Street.
Yeah. Black Mata, please. You wrote T in the chat. Long time ago.
There was something funny when his friend was calling him, and he said that he was busy. He asked him, "What are you doing?" I found it funny when he said, "Somebody's telling me something. I'm busy."
Yeah. So I'm talking, yeah, like this. But
No, I'm not sure if you remember this scene.
yeah, I remember. So girl tried to kiss him.
When the sheriff was the lady, and his friend was calling him.
Yeah. I understand. So yes, he was kind of. I understand. It was a joke, right? So girl, I don't know how to explain. They were kind of building their relationship, yeah. And this friend was there, and they trying to get rid of him. I think. Jürgen, please.
Yeah. this stage, they said leaving tomorrow. There's
Okay, that's Stagecoach. Okay.
Stagecoach. Okay. And
Interesting.
also, he's out cold.
Unconscious.
Unconscious.
Cold, out cold just means completely.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Gerard, please.
I found out that the Rio Bravo actually is the name of a village in Texas. So Texas was very close to Mexico.
Okay.
So here we have another thing. This woman, the one that fed us, he was called her name in the movie. She had a suit like tight, like a very erotic suit, like dancing for men. And the sheriff said, "I wouldn't like other men. I don't like you wearing this suit only for me, not for others," because he was jealous.
But I got it like it was her intent. So she always tried to provoke him to say something pleasant, so she was saying, "I'm leaving tomorrow," and asked and waited that he will say, "Stop, don't go," something like this. So that was the reason, in my impression, why she wears this suit, to make him jealous, to make him to say, "I love you, don't do this."
So hard to believe that a young woman, beautiful woman, trying to make advances at this time with an old man like him. Nowadays, it could be possible, but at this time, one century and a half ago,
two belts.
Two bells. I don't believe that. Men are after young women. All men are after young women, not the opposite, especially in the past.
Okay. Black Mata, please.
My question is about when the man was cheating while playing cards. So was it the sheriff's task to arrest cheaters while playing, or was it a crime then?
Yeah, good question. Good question. So actually nowadays, we have laws and regulations. So if you do something wrong, if you cheat someone, but in private company, it's not a problem for police, right? So, but at that times, should sheriff would be cared about this or not?
I don't think so. Usually when people cheat in cards, usually there's a gunfight. And then the sheriff gets involved. If it's just cheating, usually that's just a gentleman's agreement or disagreement.
Well, I'm laughing because it's exactly the point how Russian police work. So if you call them and say someone is trying to kill me, they say call us after they will kill you. Because just now is nothing happened yet. What's the reason to? Okay. I think we're ready to slides. What do you think?
Okay.
Yeah, let's do a few. I'm trying to share. Rio Bravo. Hey, I'm getting better and better in this sharing. Okay, let's start from this one. Black Mata, do you know what we are going to do? Mata? Do you understand what we're going to do? With these pictures?
I can't remember.
Yes, please. Okay, let's start from Gerard to show in progress our exercise.
We can see the sheriff as a thing we didn't say. Is the sheriff all the time? He's walking outside the police station. I don't know how to call that. He always has a shotgun in his hand. Did you notice that? He has a revolver in his waist and a shotgun. Always his shotgun, like like a cane or something.
Shotgun, you don't have to aim. You can shoot quick and always hit.
and
Yeah.
he's in the saloon, I think. Okay, I think this guy is that barber
Yeah.
on the left side. It looks like someone is a customer with a towel around his shoulders. I didn't know in the saloon the barber could be in the saloon.
I've never seen that before in a cowboy show. This is new.
Let's
We
think it's
can
a
see.
small town, everything in one
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing I don't understand in this movie is like a shot is worth $1, but $1 it was a lot of money at this time. What do you think? It can be possible.
$1 a shot?
I think it's too much. No, because the guy throw a dollar coin to the spitting.
Oh, the spittoon? Okay. Well, that was a lot of money probably back then. That's why the guy wanted to reach in there and get it. That's a lot of money.
I can drink a whole bottle of whiskey.
Yeah, that's a lot of whiskey. Yeah.
But it looks like in this movie, it's like most people are against the sheriff, because once the sheriff was after someone, he was hiding inside the saloon, and they didn't tell the sheriff what is the guy. Any guy came in.
Yeah, you're right. So the citizens of the town, they did not really cooperate with the sheriff. Right? They tried to fool him, and he paid them back. He tried to humiliate them back or something. Yeah. So what else? We can see a column right in the center of the picture and some antlers.
This guy is this dude. Is the dude, I think. This guy.
Yeah. Yep. It's a dude. Yep, kerosene lamp on the wall. Am I correct that we call this black thing on the column, we call them antlers, right?
Antlers are for deer. For cows, we call them horns.
Horns. Okay, horns.
Cow horns and deer antlers.
Okay. Well, I think it's enough for this picture. Let's go to the next one. Jorgen, please. Okay? Do you have a question?
Okay.
Jorgen, 1 second. We have a question. For previous picture, right, Sergey?
Yeah, previous picture. And on the wall, I saw the poster with the bulls fights. Whereas I don't know, it's the Spanish tradition. It's not American tradition.
It's close to Mexico.
Yeah, it's Mexico and Texas have the same border, so very, very close in culture there.
Yeah. And Sergey, you can see in Wikipedia then Mexico was not always like American state. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe those are bull horns on that post. I don't know.
Yeah. Jorgen, please, another picture.
Man is lying on the floor, shot dead. I think.
Is he dead or out cold?
I don't remember what happened in this scene. Can anyone refreshing?
I think this one not dead. So they just arrest him in this way. I think. What I like the most in this picture and in westerns, it's this type of doors, in saloons. I always want something like this. Yeah.
Swinging. We call them swinging doors.
Swinging doors. Yeah.
Only saloons had them. I don't know why. maybe so the women could look inside to find the husband, but she didn't have to go inside. Because it's a shameful place with loose women. I don't know. You'll notice John Wayne's boots have spurs.
Yep.
Spurs.
For horses, for kicking the horse to make it go fast.
Yeah. Black Manta, please, your question.
Yeah. I don't remember seeing any one of them washing his hands or even having a shower. So Did you?
Whiskey was your disinfectant back then.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah, I just recalled. Yeah, dude trying to wash his his face once, and what happened after? He was kidnapped exactly after that. So they just don't have time for this black matter. You know, when you try to wash your face, you just easy target.
Or take a bath. You remember? The dude was taking a bath when some people attacked the hotel. Do you remember that?
Yes. So, teacher me?
Something about saloons. In the cowboy movies, saloons double as hotels. So upstairs, you can rent a room and spend the night. So if you rent a room, you've got a bed and a bathtub to take a bath in, but that's it. Yeah.
I see.
What can we call the floor? It's 2 parts.
Just wooden boards, a wooden floor, we call it. I don't know why they got it in 2 directions. That's unusual.
Hmm.
Maybe it had a fire one time and part of the floor got burned and they replaced it.
Yeah. I just noticed one guy in the window. He's looking very angry, I think. Okay, let's go next. Black matter, please. Can you describe this one? Matter, please.
It seems like a parade or something. A boy has some drums.
Mm-hmm.
There is a carriage, horse, some people. I can't remember this guy here.
I think it's kind of funeral procession or something like that.
And there is some green tree or...
Yeah, bush. We'll call it a bush.
Yeah. And there's old house there. Some old stones. Mountain.
Yeah, what about this architecture? Oh, we call this houses with balconies.
Yeah, you can call them balconies if you want, or upstairs porch.
Porch, okay. Some of them doesn't have balconies, but have some kind of, I don't know, tent or something, porch. Yeah? 2-story buildings. And I found that there are many buildings that partially destroyed. All these bricks are there, ancient ruins. But why?
Yeah.
It's a new American town.
The U.S. and Mexico fought some wars.
Okay, that's the reason. Let's say it was because of Mexican bombing.
Might be, yeah. Also, don't forget Indians. We had Indians also sometimes.
But
there was a famous battle called the Alamo where the Mexicans and Texans fought.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of American heroes died there. So there's probably a movie called Remember the Alamo. Okay.
I see. Okay, anything else? What attracts you on this picture?
The man in the right is sitting on a water. We call it a water trough.
Trough.
These are for horses to drink from. They're basically just wooden boxes filled with water, so horses can drink there. Okay.
Yep.
You'll see sometimes in a fight, somebody will fall into a water trough.
Yeah. How you write this trough? U-G-H.
Oh, you'll love this word, trough.
Yeah, like a well. Okay, for horses. Trough.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Sergey, please, can you describe this?
There is a lead of this procession with a caravan with, I don't know, maybe dynamite, because in the end of the movie we watched the warehouse with dynamite, and a lot of horses with the special devices, and the, three horses for one transport, and Colorado on the horse, and there are some buildings on wood,
Have you
and red.
noticed this flask? It's interesting one. In the center, no, on the first horse, there is a flask for water. I think.
We call it
Sequel.
canteen.
Canteen. Okay. And canteen is a name for military, like cafeteria. Yeah.
Same thing. Well, no, canteen. Army have canteens also. They're a different shape.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
Army people also have a canteen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, cantina is a Mexican bar. Cantina.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But Sergey, I think there are four horses, for this stagecoach. I can see years. One horse has 4 years.
Maybe, yeah,
Too much.
yeah,
Too much,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. And of the lead has the belt for gun. I don't know how say it, but it's a special device for gun.
Yeah, holster maybe. Holster.
Rifle. We have rifle holsters. Yeah, holsters.
Holsters.
Holster. It's a place where you put your gun, on your belt. Am I right?
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
And
And
Please.
if you look close, look at that first man in the picture.
Yep.
If you look at it, he's got a gun belt.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a holster,
Mm-hmm.
gloves, cowboy hat, vest. He's
Mm-hmm.
got the round water canteen.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a rope. He has a rifle in a rifle holster.
Yep.
And behind the saddle, he has a bedroll. That's a blanket for sleeping on the ground at night.
Okay, I see. Bedroll.
So those are all standard equipment for a horse.
I see.
Okay.
Yeah. Well. Okay. Anything else? Not much, I think.
yeah, and the sheriff has a red t-shirts.
Short.
Shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a strange because most of people has brown and
Yeah, but he's the main one. Isn't
gray shirts.
Yeah,
But he's a very popular man. Maybe I don't know.
he? He's the main one in the movie. He knows this. Yeah. So we can remember this old anecdote about Star Trek. I know teacher Lee will laugh at. Yeah. So yellow shorts and red shorts and blue shorts, it determine your like destiny in the show.
Yeah.
So if you have a red short, you're the man guy.
It's interesting to note culturally that in the early cowboy movies, the good guys wore white cowboy hats and the bad guys wore black cowboy hats. So you could always tell the bad guys because they wore the black hats. So the white hats were the good guys. I don't know if they follow that in this movie or not.
Yeah, they should, I think. Pacans, please. Stampy and Sheriff.
Yeah, yeah. This is where the sheriff introduced dude to the Stumpy, and this is the point where they put Joe in jail, and there were few things on the table: a hat and I don't know, some stamps and papers, books, and a rifle holder on the wall. Mm, chairs and tables, a cupboard. I think it's a cupboard. Usually
Yeah.
we call it a bureau. Is it relevant? A bureau.
Cupboard, bureau, yeah, chest of drawers, many names for it.
Hmm.
On the table, on the left side, we have something strange. Is it books? What is this? Some strange bricks, white bricks.
Might be law books.
Law books. Well, they don't need law books. They just say you are a bad guy and shoot you. You are a good
Well,
guy.
lawmen did have some training in the law, but I don't know, probably not much.
Okay, so why this jail just inside, their office? So they have like a combined office. They, as far as I understand, they sleep there. They have a jail there, and they have all these weapons. It's only one building.
This was like their armory. This is where the town's weapons were kept. If he needed a posse to go after bad guys, he might get farmers together and give them a rifle and say, we're going to go catch a bad guy. So this is like this town's armory for weapons for forming a posse or something like that.
Yeah.
But the jail and the sheriff's office are the same place.
What I like on this picture is this stove. Can you see stove with chimney? And I can remind you that it's in Tucson. Tucson. It's plus 40 like the whole year. So why they need the stove? It's not clear for me.
Well, I think they also used it to make coffee on the coffee pot on the top. It could heat up a coffee pot.
Yeah, but it makes it makes very hot inside. So better to
I know. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, let's do one like more for each one. Gerard, please. Who is this?
This is the couple that has the hotel. This is the Pedro, I think, is the name of the guy, and the name of the woman is Consuelo.
Right.
They speak in Spanish in the movie, and on the left side we have the sheriff. I don't know what Pedro must be saying to his wife.
He's saying here that I have important business with sheriff. Go away and don't bother us.
Okay, that's because the parcel.
Yeah.
Because the parcel with the pants was sent to the sheriff, and the sheriff brought the parcel to Pedro, and that was a gift to his wife.
Yeah, so Pedro did a trick. Yes, she just ordered for sheriff's address. So, but where he's ordered in Amazon? Actually, at that time, where can you order?
Probably New York. The East had all the fancy stuff. The West was wild, but New York and those areas, the 13 colonies, they had all the cities and the fine fashions and all that stuff. So back east.
Yeah, but it's still amazing, that even 1 century ago, America has a prototype of Amazon. Yeah, you just order it, you get it.
The stagecoach was transportation. So if you order something, it would come on a stagecoach.
Wow, very nice.
A month or two later.
I find curious that those pants were erotic at this time, and nowadays would be the opposite.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Jorgen, please, this one. What they are doing? What is the strange plant?
The strange
plant, on the right side we have a ball. Can you see?
Bush.
Yeah, bush.
Yeah. Tumbleweed. Forgot.
Yeah, if it comes loose and blows across the road, we call it tumbleweed.
Yeah. So what Sheriff is doing here?
I don't remember. Do you remember?
Yeah, he probably is patrolling. Every few hours he is going to watch by his eyes. Is everything okay or not?
Mm-hmm.
Patrolling. How to say patrolling? Yeah.
Patrolling. Okay.
Patrolling. Yeah, this city. Okay, not too much on this picture. Jorgen, please, it's for you as well. Previous one was, what is happening? The gambling, right?
Gambling, yeah. He pointed his gun. They know he's cheating. Right?
Yes, right.
Yeah.
And he has a card in his sleeve.
He's forced to leave all his profit.
Yeah.
And the other players is allowed to share.
Yeah, to take money. Yeah. Sheriff told them, "You losers, you can get this money from the table."
Yeah.
Okay, so we can see ladder to upstairs and kind of dining rooms and strange black sink in the middle. What is that?
I don't know what that is.
It's a tank. Let's call it a tank.
Maybe, did he have a trunk or a big suitcase?
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. Okay.
Okay, cool.
If you look at the guy on the left, he has striped pants.
Mm-hmm.
You see the kind of tie he's wearing. That's a cowboy tie. We call it a string tie.
Yes, yes.
You don't see those much today, but that's an old style of tie called a string tie.
Usually, I was about to ask you. You know, many people in this movie, they wear like this like
kerchief.
Kerchief, yeah. But why? For dust?
Yeah, that's for dust. You could turn it around and put it over your nose and mouth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when you're not using it, you just wear it around your neck. So that's a dust cover usually.
Okay.
If you're riding a horse or something, you might cover your mouth. As you notice, the roads are all dirt. So the old towns were very dusty, very dirty.
I understand, yes. Yes, and we have a green cloth for the gambling table. Yeah, it's very common for casino.
Yeah.
Yes. We have a carpet on these little chairs.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to another one. Black matter. Can you please describe this one? What is happening?
I can't remember this, but some men with guns. Is it a balcony or?
It's kind of
a bar.
It's a bar, yes, and this
Yeah,
guy,
a bar.
yeah, with a rifle, he's on like second floor or something.
Yeah, and there's billiardo.
Yes, pool table.
We call it billiards.
Billiards, yeah. And there's Ben and piano. Is it a piano there?
Yes, I think so. Looks like piano.
Looks like a piano, yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay. Sergey, do you remember this moment in the movie?
No, it was from the 40% that I didn't watch.
Yeah, let's ask Sergey then. Sergey, do you remember this moment?
Yes, I remember the important moment when the sheriff and dude looked for the person who killed sheriff's friend, and the dude dude went to the bar table, and he noticed the beer glasses outside in the blood, and he understood the killer stayed upstairs in the second floor. After that, he killed the killers, and it's a happy end.
Yeah, so they were choosing this guy. They were choosing this guy, and he chasing. Yeah, they were chasing this guy, and he went to this bar and hide there. Yeah, and there was a fun dialogue. So sheriff said, I do the front door, you do the back door. But dude say, no,
Yeah.
I'm a good guy. Let me do the front. Like,
Yeah.
let me lead. Yeah. And after this scene, after dude kills this killer and maintaining situation very well, sheriff said, now from now on you can do front door. Yeah, so it's kind of was promotion. It was a promotion for dude. Okay, another one, Sergey, please continue.
Yeah, it's Darmont arriving inside in the city, and the dude and the sheriff told them, please stay your guns and stay your bells for guns in this. And after that, you could uh, drive inside the city. And they stay with these guns, and there are two or not. There are some horses, and there is special buildings for horses. Maybe I don't know with
Stable,
wooden.
farm shed, stables, something like this.
I don't know what is it, and wooden plants for horses, for
Probably,
staying horses.
probably a fence, I think.
Fence. Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes we use the fence like that to tie your horses to.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, we would call it a hitching post.
Kitchen post. Okay.
A place to tie your horse to or hitch your horse to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you can see that gun belts had bullets, extra bullets in them.
Yep.
Yeah.
No clips back then, only revolvers.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to load the bullets one at a time.
Yep. Long time, yeah.
Yeah.
So sheriff and his deputy, they announced that the city is gun free from now, right? So you can enter the city only if you leave your gun. Actually, is it a violation of Constitution of United States?
Second Amendment.
Yep, you can carry a gun. Yeah. Now, in the old days, most towns didn't have this checking your guns. That was the sheriff of this town. He wanted to minimize gunfights. So this town's sheriff required that you check your guns when you come into the town. That was not common, though.
Okay, and you use check instead of leave, right? Check means that you.
We say check it in this case, you just leave it there. But
Okay.
we would call it check in your weapon here. You leave it there and you come back and get it later.
Okay, and when you get it, you check out, no?
Yeah, I guess. Now, here, there's no paperwork, but normally check in, check out, there's paperwork. But usually you can say leave your weapons here is okay.
Okay.
Leave your weapons here.
Yeah,
Now,
verbs always tricky. Yeah.
Yep. If you look at the guy on the horse, behind him there are saddlebags.
Yes.
Saddlebags are to carry stuff in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Motorcycles today have two storage compartments on the sides back there, right? We call those saddlebags. So motorcycles today have saddlebags for putting stuff in.
Right. And still our motorbikes, they have saddle, right? We still call it saddle, where the place where we sit.
Usually we call it the seat. Yeah.
Seat? Oh, okay. In Russian, it's
Usually
saddle.
just a motorcycle seat, usually.
Okay, nice. Okay, let's do the last one. Patan, please.
This is where the lady shaves his beard off to get a better look of him because he didn't use to shave the previous time. He was a drunkard, so he didn't care much about his outer look. So the sheriff wanted him to shave, and the lady helped him. And after that, there was a funny incident because even Stumpy couldn't identify him because the clean-shaved face. So he misunderstood of.
Yeah, it was funny.
Not him. Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah. So after shaving, after new clothes, he went back to the jail and Stampy shoot him because it was not Dude anymore. It was someone else. Vasant, please continue. Sorry.
Yes, and there was a stable lamp on the table, and yeah, actually nothing. It's a chair with the headrest. That's it.
Yeah, let's talk a bit about this star, Sheriff star. Why it's six angles? Why it has six angles? What is symbol for?
I don't know. I think sometimes they might have 5 stars, 5 points.
Okay.
I don't know it has any special meaning.
Okay, it's a question from my boy. He watched the movie and said it's an incorrect star. Why it's incorrect? It must have 5 points, not 6. He told me. So
I'm wondering if 5 points is a sheriff and 6 points is a U.S. Marshal. I don't know. I'd have to do research.
Okay, Gerard?
But good observation on the part of the boy.
You know, this picture reminds me a question for Ivan.
Yeah.
How long you have a beard? You know, wearing a beard, because you must have been like, you know, the dude without any beard in your hair, in your face.
You know, I don't know exactly. Maybe this beer I have maybe for 1 year or something. Sometimes I get tired of it and get rid. So,
but the whole beard, you never seen you without any beard at all.
Yeah, but yeah, I shave it, but very rare. You know, once in 2 years or something. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So not for long. Sometimes, and I think to do that now, you know, in Thailand because it's too hot with my beard. Beard is very useful. Beard is very useful in Siberia, not in Thailand.
So take a picture when you get shaved like this.
Of course, you will see me on our hangout.
Something to be aware of. Today we shave with the razor.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
In the old days, they used what we called a straight razor.
Very dangerous.
A straight razor is just a blade.
Yeah.
Very sharp, easy to cut you.
Yeah.
And the barber would usually have a barber chair with a straight razor and shaving cream.
Yeah.
And to sharpen the razor, he would have a leather strap. And he would go like this on the leather strap, and somehow that would sharpen the razor.
Yeah.
So that's the old days.
Yeah. They put some kind of pasta, you know, some kind of almond, yes, on the leather. So it's not only leather, so it helps to sharpen. We use it for knives as well. It's mean polishing the knife. After, you know, you can sharpen the knife very fast, but it will lose like this sharpness very fast. So to keep it for longer, you have to polish it, and we usually do it on the leather. And for shave, it's very important.
Okay.
You know, nowadays we have kind of a renaissance. You know, it's a word, renaissance of barber shops in Russia. It's very trendy place where you go, and they always use this straight razor, and they like a bartenders. You know, they have it's an art, you know, to shave you. Yeah.
And when I was working in Taiwan, I went in a barbershop one time. All the barbershops in Taiwan are ladies.
Yeah.
So I actually got a razor shave from a lady one time in Taiwan. It was a little different, a little scary, you know. She's got this razor going like this, but it was different. My only razor shave like that. Yeah.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. You know, we have many materials that we did not cover. We have a nice list of vocabulary and phrases from Jorgen, and we have some questions on our Padlet. I will copy them on the Medruk site, so please review. Yeah, and thank you very much, and see you next week. Next time we
Bye
will
bye.
something
Thank you.
about Indians, I think, with feather.
How?
How? Okay.